War number 6, and finally a war that I'm actually really excited to do a video on because I get to use MCoC, who has been my tactic MVP this season, Future Ant-Man, who I just love to use and just don't put as much content on as I'd like to, and Mr. Negative, which is basically the same case of Future Ant-Man. And today I'm starting on Path 6 in Section 1. I'll take this Darkhawk here. I'm going to be taking it with MCoC. The plan I was given by my officer was to just trust my incinerates and be careful of the unstoppable. So we're not going to knock him down, we're just going to try to spam a bunch of incinerates and maybe throw an SP2 in the block if we have the opportunity to do so. Spiked armor is here, which will chip us down a little bit, but it really won't do that much damage, and the physical resistance isn't that annoying. This is a low rank Darkhawk, so I'm not too worried about anything here. I know to properly dex part of his SP1. I can't do the full thing, obviously, but anyway, this Darkhawk dies right here with this SP2, and yeah, that's the first fight. Next up, we have Sauron here. I'll be taking it with Future Ant-Man, obviously, and this is a pretty easy fight going into it, but I, for some reason, messed up a lot. I don't really know what was happening. For some reason, my intercepts were just really off, like you're gonna see pretty soon. Like I don't even know what happened there. Apparently my light attack, I did it too early or something. But either way, it's really frustrating, and that was another one where I'm just like, okay, what is going on? So I'm trying to get out my corner. I throw my SP1 to get the disintegrate, and now I just am like, okay, I need to recover from the fight. I've got him aggro now because I'm in Surging Swarm. Luckily he couldn't go unblockable there because I had to parry because of another weird intercept, but it's okay. We're just going to get to our SP2. We have one disintegration, which is really all we need, and then this SP2 wipes him out. Easy Sauron fight once we got past the disastrous start of the fight. So next up, we are moving to Section 2, where I'll be taking Path 1, and I can't remember my first fight. My first fight's Bishop, so I'm going to heal up Ant-Man a little bit. And this is a pretty easy fight. Again, it's got, what's it called? It's a node where you dash back twice and then they gain a regen. But it's not that big a deal for Ant-Man because we can kill him really fast anyway. My Ant-Man is at a relatively high sig. He makes incinerates last 70% less duration on him, so if Bishop throws an SP1, it's not the end of the world. But obviously I don't want to always get him to bait SP1s just because, you know, I'm still going to be taking damage even though those incinerates are even shorter. So again, I just need to do my normal rotation where I probably go for an SP1 into an SP2, and then it's really easy. I'm going to throw an SP1 right here. Got those incinerates on me, but they don't really hit too hard. It's not that bad. And I'm just building to my SP2 here. And I throw it, and does it kill? I believe it does. Yeah, it does. And so that was a pretty easy fight. Took a little chip from that incinerate, but it's not that big a deal. Next up is Future Ant-Man, and I'll be taking this with Mr. Negative. I've done this fight before, and the reason I'm taking it with Mr. Negative is because he is immune to a buffet, because he's Nullify immune. So the only thing I need to worry about is Ant-Man's regular mechanics, and then this is really easy. The nodes won't really matter, because once I get to Mr. Negative's SP2, they're dead whether that full health anyway, so I just need to get ready for the evade. A thing with playing Mr. Negative you always have to worry about is if they have the unfazed mastery, so I did a duel before this fight to make sure, and they did not, so it's okay. I misdexed his SP1 earlier. I am really bad at Ant-Man's special attacks, which is unfortunate, but it's not that big a deal, and I'm going to just slowly get to my SP2. I've got the disintegrations lowering my combat power rate by a lot. I have 3 of them on me now, so that's really annoying, but it's not that big a deal. We're almost there, and as soon as I throw it, the fight's essentially over, and it's my only Mr. Negative fight, so if I take a little bit of chip damage, it's not that big a deal, because I'm not going to have to heal him up for another fight anyway. And just like that, Mr. Negative does his job, and that Ant-Man is dead. So, next up, we have a collection of mini-bosses. I got 3 mini-bosses this war, which was I think the most I've had this season so far. I might have had another 3 mini-boss war, I can't remember. But either way, I'm taking this Zemo with Fantman, and we really didn't have a lot of options, so my officer was like, just trust that the Surging Swarm keeps him aggressive enough to where he's going to be throwing his special attacks and playing in my intercepts enough to not let the root node trigger too often. And the game plan was pretty easy. That's basically what the Surging Swarm is going to get him to do. I'm going to struggle a little bit in the early game because I don't have that Surging Swarm ready, so I am going to get rooted, which is unfortunate. We got those bleeds on me, but they really don't hit that hard, and with willpower they hurt even less, so it's not that big a deal. Gonna keep baiting his SP1s this whole fight. I can dex his SP2 really consistently, but I'll still be baiting SP1s if I can help it. And yeah, we're just betting on Zemo throwing his special attacks, and I don't get rooted too often, which, with Surging Swarm active, making him more aggressive, that's something I can usually count on, so it's pretty nice. And we're just going to be throwing this SP2 without any disintegrations, because he would obviously purify them, which isn't that big a deal, because it still does a lot of damage, and I just need 2 SP2s to finish the job. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're just going to build to another one. He's playing really nice with his special attacks. And yeah, this is a pretty easy fight. He's almost down here, and he still has his 5 cleanse. I never gave him a debuff to purify. Used the striker just to give me more time to get back to the power detonation, but didn't even need it because our basic attacks finished him off. And yeah, next up we have this Havok here, and Havok, this node has Conflictor, so what I'm going to be not doing is triggering my disintegrations because I don't want to get him to have too much power. And with Fantman's armor up buffs, we don't take any damage from his plasma, obviously, so the game plan here is just to spam our SP2s just like we did against that Zemo earlier. We got Odin pre-fights to make Hazard Shift a joke, and obviously the bleeds last a lot shorter because of Fantman's Awakened ability, just like the Incinerates in that Bishop fight from earlier. And yeah, this is really easy. I've been saying that a lot this war, but I did get some really nice assignments with Future Ant-Man. He did carry this war for me. So yeah, that's pretty great. And this SP2 does a very large amount of damage, and then we'll finish him off with basic attacks. The detonation from the power detonation does a lot of damage on the basic attacks, and yeah, he just dies. So another really good mini-boss takedown from Fantman. Lastly, we have this Photon on, I believe, node 49. It's the one where she has power reserve, and the one where if she has a buff expire on her, then she can make me miss if I do not throw a special attack or a heavy in a certain amount of time. And the interesting thing about this fight is that I died to it in a previous war this season, so I'm trying to get revenge on this Photon here. And now that I have died to it before, I know what not to do. So I'm going to be doing my best to avoid those mistakes. Specifically, I need to remember when she enters her pure light form, meaning I need to know when I can dex her specials and when I can't. I need to be aware of the falter coming back. And yeah, just try to let her gain as little charges as possible. So we'll do our best to do that. The Disorient helps, I think, from Masacre's SP1 to make those debuffs trigger a little less. I'm not sure if that's entirely true, but I think that's what was happening in the fight a little bit. So we just continuously bait her SP1s, and then we're going to finish her off with this SP2 with the ignited, so it does a bunch of extra damage, and yeah, it did so much damage, plenty enough to kill her, and I'm very happy that I did get my revenge on that Photon there. And that is my War 6. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.